let me try and give you a quick recap of whatever we have done. Okay, and then we'll start on the new topic. So we have covered quite a bit of topics in AWS. We initially started with understanding SRE, then cloud computing, then AWS. We started working on AWS EC2 instances. After instances, we created some VPCs. We understood what a NAT gateway, an internet gateway. We created couple of subnets. We created security groups, knackles, difference between security group, knackles. Then we started with different types of storages. So EBS, EFS, S3 is something that we have worked with. Apart from that, we worked with auto scaling and load balancers. We covered two types of load balancers: application load balancers and network load balancers. Application load balancers and network load balancers with auto scaling group also is something that we have covered. Okay, so now today it's again going to be a critical component that generally every company uses. Okay, is something that we will try and understand. Okay, so today's topic is going to be RDS. So before I tell you about AWS RDSs, I'll tell you what an RDS is, what what is its role, key component, and why is it like that? Why do we need a separate component? Okay, so before starting that, I'll talk to you about data, structured data, and RDS, and then we'll go ahead and quickly create an RDS today. We'll understand, deep dive into it tomorrow. Okay. So first thing first, whenever, like example, you have a company, like maybe you have a online selling store wherein you sell certain products. Okay. So what happens? You have your product related details like, okay, this is my product. These are the specifications. This is the price. This is the cost and all and all. Okay. Second information that you would like to keep is the customer. Example, this is the customer. He bought this particular product. This product price is this much. This is his billing information. This is his like about customer. Okay, you will keep information about the customer, that this is the customer, this is where he lives, this is what is his name, this is the email ID, and somewhere you also save your mobile numbers and all. Okay, example, Myntra, you have a Myntra profile. That profile itself is the user information for them. Okay, and whatever you see on Myntra, Flipkart, let's take example of Flipkart. So Flipkart or Myntra, whatever products they sell, that is their product information. Okay, whatever profile you create is the user information for them. Third information that you would like to save is the orders, right? This person, you go to your orders section, you'll see all the orders. Every order will have the like what is the product that you have bought, what is the price of the product, what is the billing information, what is the payment mode, your shipping address, your shipper, etc., etc., and the status of the order. Where is the order? Which state is the order in? Okay, is it delivered? Is it not delivered? Is it in packaging? It is in transit? Where exactly is it? Correct? So
Yeah.
for now, I'm assuming, hi Sujay. So for now, I'm assuming that these are the three information we want to give. There are more and more information that you would like to keep for your customer. Okay, but let's understand these three details. Now, understand the data. You have your products. Your product is bought by the customer. So product and order is somewhere linked. Okay, this order is paid this. Inventory also you might want to measure, right? Not only the products, but how much product is available with you, right?
Yeah.
Example, if I'm selling iPhones, how many iPhones do I have? What is the specifications and the product code, product number, product information, barcode of the product itself. Okay, like you say about iPhone, I have iPhones. Okay, but iPhone also have this serial number. If you don't manage your inventory, you would never know where what product is bought, what product reached where, etc., etc. Okay,
Yeah.
let's take iPhone. Okay, you're buying iPhone from Flipkart. You have Like that Flipkart will have iPhone's information. That is your product and product information. Then your inventory needs to map your product, right? Okay, this is the product, this is the inventory I have, these many iPhones I have right now, this is the serial number, this is the product. Okay, now one of the product is bought by somebody, so this product in the inventory is mapped to a user now. Okay, right? This particular thing, this iPhone with this serial number is given to this is allotted to this person. Okay, which will also come in orders. This is the order, this is the serial number of the person who bought the product, like this is the customer ID, this is the serial number of the product that was bought, etc., etc., right? So all of this information needs to map to each other. Okay, number one, to be able to, for you to see the information, right?
Yeah.
And secondly, for them also, for analysis, for business, etc., etc. Now, data in on an average is of two types. One is structured, another one is unstructured data. Okay, unstructured data is something that we write every time. We write a file. Okay, we write some data in a file. Okay, that is unstructured data. It doesn't have a structure, it can be anything, anywhere. Today you are writing something like, Parul bought this product with this serial number, and this is the color, this is this. I'm writing it. It is unstructured, there's no structure to it. Okay, now querying something from an unstructured data. Okay, your files, your report files. Okay, earlier in previous time, when there was no databases, nothing, no computerization, people used to make records, right? They were all in unstructured category because they cannot be queried easily. Okay, to get anything out of that was a nightmare. Correct? Because, example, there are, like, you have your like you are a baby. I'm 1990s born. So in when you're 90s born, okay, there were no computers then when you were born. So your hospital maintained a record of you. Okay, how? But in a file saying that, okay, this person is born in this hospital, this is the doctor, this is the mother's name, and this is the time and date when they are born. Now, to get that one person's information in all of those records of previous years, it was very difficult. Okay, and since they were physical, it was very difficult because physical records can be damaged easily. Um Somebody did pour something on that, gone. So that used to happen a lot. In computers also, if you write something in notepad, okay, and you have like 10,000 lines, okay, to find an exact information in that particular file is going to be very difficult, right? Exact information. Now I'm talking about subs, like you can do some substring matching, saying that, okay, Parul, I had a file and I wanted to check, what is the, like, which city in Maharashtra this person used to live. Now, it's going to be very difficult for you. First, you'll have to probably get to the name of the person. Okay, then probably read that entire line and see, okay, uh, not sure whether it's going to come here, somewhere else, no idea. It's unstructured data. But when it comes to uh, what you and me see on YouTube, on Myntra, on Flipkart, on Apple, Facebook, others, it's a very quick data retrieval process, right? Correct? You fetch the details on any, like, I was talking about iPhone. Let's go and try to talk about Flipkart, uh, Flipkart or Amazon, and they are selling iPhone. Now, when example you want to talk about iPhone, you just go go on the search bar and write iPhone, it is going to show you some suggestions from whatever they have, right? You click on it, you will get all the products, you will get the recommended products. All of this is quick data processing that is happening in background. Okay, now before data could be processed, it needs to be saved in a certain format. If you know that, okay, this is how I've saved the data, it is going to be very easy for you to retrieve the data. Okay, if I say this is the line where I have the name, if you save the same data that I was saving in a file in an Excel sheet, it will be easier, right, to get to the place where a person was born, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bit structured data. Okay, same way, if you structure the data that you're dumping, okay, it will be very easy to query the data because you know how you have saved the data, right? You can query, you can map, you can like get quick results. That is where these databases come into picture. This is what these databases are all about. Okay, you can still keep the data in your file systems, others, and internally they are also keeping in the file system only, because somewhere that data that you are writing, structured or unstructured, needs to be there on the drive or disk, right? If that drive and disk is not there, where the data is, it's not there in the air. Okay, so it will be somewhere on the system only, but in a structured format which an application can identify and query easily. Okay, so generally in a structured format, there are two types of databases: relational databases and NoSQL databases. Okay, SQL and NoSQL databases. So right now I'm talking to you about relational databases. If you have heard of SQL, Oracle, these are all relational databases wherein you'll have different tables created. Okay, and all of these tables will be interlinked to each other using a primary key, foreign key, so on and so forth. Okay, it is very easy, very fast to query anything in this database. Example, now I have a table here which says customer information. So customer number. Okay, I have a number assigned to every customer, so it is always unique. Definitely it has to be unique all the time. Now if it is not unique, then what happens? Two people in the
Mhm.
entire world can have same name, right?
Yeah.
Rahul can
Yeah.
happen. So what will happen in that case? Your database will not be able to identify whether this particular product is bought by this Rahul or this Rahul, right? So we'll have a particular customer number, we'll have a customer name, full name, or it can be first name, last name, their address, their mobile in one table. Okay, you'll have all of your products in another table, you'll have inventory in other table, and so example, orders. Now orders in one table, all the orders in one table. Now how will this order be mapped to this particular customer? If I have all the orders in one table, how will you identify who ordered what?
Order
Orders
ID.
also have their ID, okay, order ID, which everyone has. Then it will have product ID,
Yeah.
okay, from the inventory. So inventory table will have all the products, and every product will have an ID. So what you'll have order ID, okay, you'll have product ID, you'll have customer ID. Customer ID is also unique here in this table. Okay, and then the billing and the shipping information and the payment and the status. Okay, now understand, if tomorrow you want to query, tell me every order that is done by this particular customer, you will go in this table, okay, and get all the orders which are on this particular product ID, customer ID. So what you will do first, if I have the customer name, okay, customer unique name or something, some information we'll get from the customer itself. Okay, so customer, if you have the customer name, you'll get the customer ID.
ID.
From the customer ID, you can come here in orders table and get all the orders which are by this particular customer filtering. Okay, You don't have to filter it, automatically your code does it. You will have to just write a query. Okay, not your code, but a database code does it. Okay, you'll have to just write the correct query with the correct tables and everything. Okay, all of these mappings are sometimes done by us, sometimes done by database like DBAs, but it's better to understand what the process is. Okay, because we might have to do all of this sometimes, because we are sometimes handling the data too. Sometimes we'll have to query the data and see whether what everybody else is saying is true, not true, have our own analysis and all of that. Okay, so it's better to understand that part too. Now what I'm talking to you about is like I want to get all the orders made by this particular customer. So what I'll do is I'll filter on this customer, so I'll get all the orders. Now I want to get the products. Okay, like because I want on the website, I want to show the products that you've bought with all the shipping information and all, which I can get. If I can get the products, I can get all the shipping information. I can sort them, get the shipping information, billing information, and status of the order that I can directly give you. Now product, I have the product ID. What I'll do, I'll go in the inventory, get the product ID information and show it there. So I have all the information, all these tables are interlinked to each other. And all this interlinking is something that is done in relational databases. So everything is saved in certain tables. All of these tables are interlinked with each other using primary keys, foreign keys, except and unique keys also. Okay, and that's how you will be able to query the data. Querying in this case is faster always. Okay, you'll have to only, there are some resource limitations from if you have your computer, if you're hosting it in a computer or something, then that can be a hindrance. But if you have given enough resources, then it's a very fast querying process. Also it depends on the where you have saved the data. If you have saved the data in EBS volume, it's always going to be faster. If you are reading it from the network, that is EFS, then it is going to be a bit slow. Okay, so generally these kind of databases keep their data in EBS. Now you don't have to worry about all of this in case of an AWS, because in AWS you have a feature called RDS. Okay, in AWS you have a managed service to do so. So you don't have to manage about the data, the database, uh, about taking backups of these database, because everything in this world is somewhere on some computer, on some drive. Okay, any hardware can go off anytime, so you'll have to take care of the database backup, because you have to keep the backup. Tomorrow if Flipkart's database goes off, they cannot say tomorrow that, oh, I don't know you, I have lost all of my customers, I've lost all of my orders, I've lost all of my inventory and everything, I don't know anything now. Right, nobody can say that, right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do, you have to keep on taking the backup of those databases. You have to plan clustering, that okay, if this is one server, I need to have a read replica, or I need to have a replica of this server, so that any point in time if this server goes off, I have a backup. I have a read replica there, which can be recovered quickly. Okay, all of this. So you have to somewhere maintain all of those. Okay, in terms of AWS, they'll help you do all of this, because in AWS RDS they manage the database. Okay, and the database instance, the database service, and you have to only care about your data, your queries, and even just some part of it. Okay, and just give the correct configuration. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm. So this is how an RDS actually works. This is what a relational database is. Okay, in a NoSQL databases, data is still structured, but it can, like it is like if it is a MongoDB, it can be in document databases. Okay, it can be in multiple documents, and in even MongoDB it is faster and quicker to query the data. Okay, and there are other databases too, I say Cassandra and all of those. Okay, which works on key value pair. Also, one more thing that happens in a database that most of the people are unaware of is indexing. Okay, so all of these databases, they are able to quickly retrieve data for you because they index the data. Okay, now why I'm introducing these words to you is because you as an individual should be aware about this technology called indexing, because it's going to help you in creating the indexes later, logs and all of those data, all of that kind of scenarios. Okay, so I'll give you one day to read about it. Tomorrow we'll discuss about indexing again. Indexing. Okay, I have not yet discussed about indexing today because I want you to read a bit about what an index is, what is indexing, and where exactly. I'll give you use cases of indexing also. Okay, now let's see our AWS after a long time. So I'll just quickly open my console. Don't worry, whatever we are doing, whatever we are creating can be created easily uh, using Terraform or other IAC tools. All of the other tools are actually called IACs because they help you create infrastructure as a code or using a code. So you have a code, and using your code you should be able to create, delete, manage everything using a code. Okay, that is also something that we're going to do, but before that you should understand what you're planning to code. You should understand these components. Okay, so I'll quickly share my screen. You can see my screen, guys.
Yeah, you can see.
Looks similar?
Familiar.
Looks familiar? Good. Again, when you see region anywhere, it is a
Um,
regional resource.
okay.
Okay, which means that an RDS or a database is a machine, like it can be very analogous to a service which is hosted on a machine and is given to you. Okay, so it will be there in a certain region, in a certain VPC, in a certain subnet, etc. Okay, so when you're talking about data and you look into security perspective, where exactly would you like to save your data? In which subnet should we save the data?
Private.
Private. Perfect, because we don't want to publicly expose it. Never publicly expose your data. I'm just creating a quick one. Why I keep on creating the VPCs and helping like do all of this is because I want to help you understand where does the RDS component come in and how will you set that properly, rather than just doing it and putting it in any subnet. I want to show you how it looks like. Okay, I'll show you some architectures where RDS is present. Okay, here they have PostgreSQL. Okay, can you guys see RDS? It's here.
Yeah.
Okay, they have an application load balancer. This is some architecture. Okay, we are not creating this architecture, I'm just explaining you how it looks like. Okay, there is this load balancer which is in public. There are these three availability zones where they have private. Okay, there is nowhere mentioned private, but we'll make it as private. Okay, forget about this EKS for the time being. Okay, forget about this one. So now you have these private subnets. In the private subnets, we have one PostgreSQL primary RDS. Okay. And look at this. Amazon RDS read replica option. Okay. It is there in like this is how they are replicating it in multiple environments and multiple regions, which is why they have elastic cache and all of that. Forget about it. We just want to have a first we'll have a simple RDS instance with primary, then we'll have a read replica in different availability zone, and then we'll have two actual instances there. Okay, instead of read replicas. So if you see here in two different accounts, they are having an asynchronous replication between a primary instance and a read replica, and this is in another account, another region. Okay, multi region. Okay, so let's try to create what all options do we have. Let's see. Okay, now we have a VPC. Quickly, let's try to create an RDS. It is cost heavy process. Okay, so whenever you create any one of them, make sure you delete it in time. Okay,
I didn't delete them and incurred charges actually.
that's why I always say forever, whenever you're doing anything, just try and delete it. If you have created it for test clusters, test instances, try to delete it. Even in your company, if your work is done, make a habit of deleting these instances, because if you are not incurring the charges, at least company is incurring those charges. Okay, so it's a good habit to clean up everything, plus it will be less chaos. Example, now it's my account. Okay, there are 0 databases. Now I give this account to 20 people in my company. Okay, and everyone comes, create certain things here and there and then go, create certain things here and there and then go. After a point in time, it will become very difficult for us to manage that, because we won't know who created what, whether it is used, whether it is not used, whether the task is done, not done, what is the state, right? And minimize your downtime during upgrade. A blue green deployment provides a staging environment. So this is this you guys can read. It is very very interesting. Okay, I'll also talk to you about like blue green deployment in some time, but okay, at least read this. Read this and a guide a bit about it, about this one. Okay, now let's go ahead and create a database. We can go and easy create or a standard create. Okay, for now I'll go for a standard create, because I want to show you more options. In easy create, we'll have less options, saying that okay, you want to create a dev instance, test instance, so you get less control. Just like we create a VPC using a wizard. Okay, VPC and more option, and then we manually create it. Okay, just like that. So I'll create it using a standard create. So there are different type of MySQLs or relational databases that are available. Okay, Aurora database, that is again MySQL compatible. Aurora database with PostgreSQL compatible. Then we have MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL. These are all different type of databases only. Okay, relational databases. Now example, I want to create a simple PostgreSQL. Okay, simple one. Now, for a simple one, I want to have multi-AZ? Show versions that support multi-AZ cluster. I don't want to have a multi-AZ. Okay, I can select any of the version of PostgreSQL which I want to deploy. I can go for a previous version. I can go for a new version. I'll go for a previous version to see and maybe update it later. I can go for which template I want to use. Do I want to have a test instance? I want to have a free tier. If you go for a free tier, it's going to be a very small instance, but you will have a lot of options like multi AZs and read replicas and everything completely disabled in these. Okay. So I'm creating a dev test cluster. Okay. It can be a multi AZ cluster, a multi AZ DB instance. Creates a primary DB instance and a standby instance in different AZs. Okay, providing high availability and data redundancy. So when you want to do a switch over, that also happens automatically. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, here it is creating two read replicas standby. Here it is creating one read replica standby. Can you see?
Yeah.
One standby database, two readable standby databases. Okay, this is readable standby. Okay, you can have read operations on those. Okay, in this, no. Okay, and this is a single database with no standbys. So I'll go ahead and create
The
one.
standby is just not readable, is it? Oh, just what you said.
These are two readable standbys, wherein you can have read operations. These are just standby servers. I'll show you. Let's see. I'll just create a database. Credentials, I can have self managed, or I'll create a self managed one, or I can create a secrets manager one. If you create a secrets manager one, then what happens is, in this encryption key, it will go ahead and put the, you can encrypt using KMS key. Okay, in this key they'll put the like credential, but I don't want to do it. I want to have it self managed, so I can create password. I'll just write password. Password is password. I can do it anything. Okay, completely my choice. Now I can have different type of instances, because again, everything is hosted somewhere on some instance. Okay, this instance and this application is something that is not managed by us. It's managed by AWS, but they'll ask you on which type of instances would you like to manage this. This is memory optimized, CPU optimized. I'm going to have a standard one, a simple standard instance. I don't want to get a very big one. Okay, this is the data, like what is the size of the database you want. I'll have just small. 20 is the minimum, so I'll create 20 gigs. Okay, different type of storages. Again, you remember same kind of things that we select all the time in our EC2 instances too, right?
Yeah.
You want to have auto scaling enabled, not enabled. I don't want to have it. Okay, you can enable it, you can disable it, although it's just a option here for you, but internally they will go ahead and auto scale based on the capacity. Okay, as the capacity increases. Okay, I am selecting this option for now. You can select which database would you like to use, like which instance would you like to directly connect it to. So I'll create an instance for myself right now. Why I'm connecting it? I'm connecting it right now just for my testing. Okay, I don't need to have that option. But I did not select the VPC. Where is the VPC? I'll have to select the VPC options too. Hmm. This is parameters, KMS key, encryption, enable delete protection, as in nobody can delete it. I can have a maintenance window. Okay, as in don't do any maintenance on this time. I can have an initial database using which it will go ahead and initialize everything. Okay, I am setting as password authentication for this. Let me choose the VPC. No, this is the security group. I want to choose the VPC. Okay. No, I am selecting my VPC right now. My VPC did not have any EC2 instance, which is why it was not uh, giving an error. It was giving an error there. So I have selected my database. Okay. Public access, no. You see, whatever I'm teaching, for what it is, and the component name is something that I always write here. This is just to validate the database and the connection, server connections. Okay. Do you want to export logs to CloudWatch or no? Do you want to have an IAM role attached somewhere or not? Okay. So this is going to be the pricing. Okay. Which is going to be applicable for this particular database. So this is the storage price and this is the actual DB instance price. So you understand how much chargeable it can be? This is for monthly costs. Huh? This is not daily. If you delete the instance, you don't need it. So I'll create it. Which is why I always say, whatever you create, delete there and then. Okay. It's right now in creating stage. Do you want to create a proxy? You want to create an elastic clash cluster uh, uh, for your DB settings and all of that. You uh, see, this one is talking about, but I don't want it right now. I'll close it. Let it create the database. So while creating the database, it might show you everything. Like it will show you the database, subnet. You can select the subnet in which you want it to be. Since I did not have any secure subnet group, okay, it attached it to all the subnets for the time being. Okay. I can use this option or I can avoid using this option too. Some level of monitoring automatically happens, but if you want to get all the logs and everything, you remember there was an export option. So you'll have to wait for that. It's still in creating state. Once it is created, I'll tell you what exactly is used to connect to this database. There is also a security group attached to this database, okay? Remember? So any incoming request on this database is only allowed from this source IP. Okay, so you might have to make the changes here. For the time being, let's just go back and see if my RDS is back up again. Okay, and then I'll create a EC2 instance. First, I'll connect it and see whether it is connecting. Okay, I will test the telnet connections also. Let's see. Still in creating state, it takes time for creation. That's why for maintenance also, auto minor upgrade, as in minor version upgrade, should automatically happen here. Okay, so which is what is happening, like which will be shown here. If there's any pending maintenance, a minor one, okay, it will be you'll have to come here and apply it at the next maintenance window. And maintenance window, you can set, okay, that this needs to be my maintenance window. I don't want to have any maintenance in my working hours. I want to have it in off working hours and so on. Retention period for performance highlights, okay, only for performance insights is going to be 7 days. Okay, now I'm waiting still for it to go ahead and, okay, you see, machine is up. You have some CPU here. Still in creating state. Until unless it is fully created, you'll not get a endpoint. Okay, you did get an endpoint. This is the endpoint that we'll use to connect to this machine. Okay, or to connect to this database. Now this is only privately available because you have said that I don't want it to be publicly available. Okay, so what I'll have to do, I'll have to create a instance because it is private, machine is private. So I might have to create a bash instance. I'll create a quick bash one and show you how it looks like. Did I forget to enable? Oh shit, I forgot to give it a public IP. Okay, yeah, it has public IP for now. Okay, automatically enabled. So let me first log in into this instance. Remember, how do we log in? SSH. I'll fix this. It's running. Yes, I'm in the instance. Now let me try and connect to my RDS from the instance. So I have an instance from that instance. I want to connect to the RDS. Okay, to connect to RDS, let me just let it modify successfully. Sometimes these modifying things can also cause challenges. 5432 is PostgreSQL port. No, might not work. So I will go ahead and update the security group too. Guys, you are able to follow what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I hope it's not that quick, huh? For now, I'm enabling from anywhere. I can enable it from inside the cluster too. What is the, okay. Let me give this. So internally, I've enabled it. Let's see whether it is connecting now. No. Let it just finish modifying and then we'll see. Sometimes it doesn't allow any connections when it is modifying anything. So we'll just wait for it to finish modifications. You see, this is the replication database identifier. So this is read replica, this is replica, and this is or standby. Okay. I'll just wait for it to finish modifying. You can get the logs here, but we don't want to export these logs to CloudWatch. So you will not get it in CloudWatch, or will not be able to create any good alarms here right now. But you can get this, what it is trying to do, what it is trying to modify, and all of those information. We'll just wait for a few more minutes. You can give a proper AZ also, that I want it in this AZ or that AZ, okay? It takes time, guys, okay? It's a heavy process, so it might take 15 to 20 minutes for it to actually come. You can have your queries, okay, written on some databases, etc. So once this database is up, we might fire a query to see. You can have performance insights of every database. Performance insight view. Right now we don't have anything. Okay. Because it's not authorized in this account, but we can see some information here too. We'll just continue to wait. Any questions so far, guys? No? Hey, hey. This is my Bastion server. Oh. Okay. Sorry, I think I created my Bastion server in incorrect account. Wait. Sorry, in incorrect VPC. Okay. Because you see, I forgot to update that option, that connection option. Remember?
Which one you use your own VPC? Which connection you say? Sorry.
I did not use my new VPC. I used my old VPC. That is the problem. Okay. That's why I was thinking, why was there some challenge? Or I can create a new. This is my Bastion host now. If you come here, this is the correct one. You see, IP address is correct, which is why it was not able to connect. I might have to change the security group rules here also. Remember, I just added a security group rule, but it was for a incorrect. I have attached it from anywhere right now, but it doesn't matter. It will still be able to only be available internally and not outside. Why? Why, guys? Why it will be not be available outside? Because I have given connection is succeeded. Okay. Now, since the connection is succeeded, I can try and install PostgreSQL client also. Should be fairly quick steps. Okay, why I'm doing this step is because I want to run a query to see if I can connect to that database and probably create some tables. Okay, that's what I want to do. Let's see. Still waiting. Okay, doesn't matter. Unable to locate PostgreSQL. Why so? Here it is. Okay. It also install the client. Can you see? You can explicitly install the client, or this will do it for you in any way. Where is it? I just saw in log somewhere. Okay. PSQL. Yeah. Now PSQL hyphen. Okay. Now I'm showing you how to find the queries, how to get the information. So if you'll come here, you'll see all the connection and every detail. Let me show you how it looks like. So if you want to connect to something in the regional database, like if you are on the same database and you want to run it. Now, where is it? Let me check the connection string. You can use these connection strings also. If you don't want to use it, you can also use hyphen hyphen help here. But sometimes it's better to kind of use it there as well. So example, I want to write the host. So hyphen h is the option. Hyphen h. My host name is this endpoint, right? Port is anyway same, so you don't have to worry about the port. If you want to give port, hyphen small p 5432. Okay. If you want to give password, then hyphen w. Okay, force password prompt. Okay, and hyphen capital U is your user. I am inside the database. Now I can go ahead, create as many tables and all of that. I'm in this database, right? There's nothing right now in this database. That's why options are not coming. But you can go ahead, create the database, use the database in whichever region you want to, whichever way you want to use. You can create your tables, you can create your customer table, and so on and so forth with this. Okay, you don't have to worry about the backups. Your backups and other options are there here. Okay, I'll tell you about these backup options also tomorrow. Okay, as to how we'll perform the backup, how we'll perform the snapshot and all of those. Okay, but before that, what I want you to do is whatever we have done today, please practice it. Okay, if you practice it, it will be easier for you to take it ahead. Okay, but if you don't practice it, it is going to be difficult for you to understand what you'll have to do, understand where we are and all of those things. Okay, so go ahead, try it out, and let me know if you guys have any issues. Okay. Any questions
Yeah.
so far?